Got me reminiscing back to when days were great. Got me wishing it was 1988.
Got me reminiscing back to when times were great. Got me wishing it was 1988.
Good day, Lime Nation, and all my hip-hop heads across the world. Welcome back to the Rap Flashback, where every month we seek to both educate and entertain our loyal viewers. That said, let's dive right into this August 2014 edition. August has turned out to be a big month for key song and album release dates over the years. Let's take a look. The legendary gangsta rap pioneers, NWA, released their debut album, Straight Outta Compton, on August 8th, 1988. That's right, y'all. 8888 was the date we officially witnessed the strength of street knowledge. Led by Eazy-E's vision, Dr. Dre's production, and Ice Cube's lyrical prowess, and of course flanked by MC Ren's rhymes and DJ Yella's production, NWA scared the crap out of mainstream America. With songs like title track Straight Outta Compton and Fuck the Police, this album quickly became an urban classic and catapulted the group into the forefront of the gangster reality movement that artists such as Kool G Rap and Ice-T had birthed years earlier. I have vivid memories of many of my older family members with ties to the streets, along with their peoples blasting Fuck the Police in the streets while guzzling on 40s and smoking stuff. I was 8 at the time and had already fallen in love with rap music, with Run DMC, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and the Fat Boys being my favorites of the mid-80s. And I was always the good kid in the family. I stayed away from the street scene, took pride in my studies, listened to my elders, that type of stuff. But when this album came out, I immediately fell in love with gangster rap and never looked back. And that's not to say it changed me. I still went about my business being the nerdy, good kid. I just started swearing a lot more. Financial disputes and trust issues ultimately led to Ice Cube leaving NWA, which resulted in the group releasing their second album, 100 Miles and Running, on August 14, 1990, without their lead MC. In fact, the album's laced with the occasional diss at Ice Cube for leaving the group, effectively starting the Ice Cube versus NWA feud that would play itself out, sadly, through the end of Eazy-E's life in 1995. The remaining members of the original group would later reconcile and occasionally collaborate, but never again as anything resembling the original unit. Despite their relatively short run as a full team, however, there is no doubt that NWA left an indelible mark on hip-hop culture, and as such, we salute the world's most dangerous group. The late, great Notorious B.I.G. released the first single off his classic debut, Ready to Die, Juicy, on August 8, 1994. This song helped usher in a smoothed-out rap R&B East Coast fusion that countered the G-Funk sound that Dr. Dre and DJ Quick, among others, were incorporating to great success on the West Coast in the mid-90s, and B, helped Bad Boy Records take that leap from gritty, up-and-coming rap label to one that had the remnants of mainstream appeal. And let's face it, this is one of those songs to which even non-hip-hop heads know many, if not all, of the lyrics. R.I.P. B.I.G., it was all a dream. Only built for Cuban links, Raekwon's first solo album was released on August 1st, 1995. The third solo album from the Wu-Tang Clan, following Method Man's Tikal and Old Dirty Bastard's return to the 36 Chambers, the dirty version. It initially did not garner the same fanfare and sales numbers as its predecessors, but received much more critical acclaim. A pioneer of the rap mafioso genre that Biggie and Jay-Z would incorporate in their mid-90s releases, Cuban Links is today considered a must-have rap record, and in 2012, Rolling Stone would place it at 480th in its 500 greatest albums list. Shoutouts to the chef for cooking up a classic. The beautiful Lauryn Hill, who at her lyrical peak in the late 90s was, in my opinion, the nicest female MC to ever bless a mic, with apologies to MC Lyte, dropped her mega successful solo record, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, on August 25th, 1998. Discussing this album becomes an exercise in superlatives. 8 million sold in the US, 5 Grammys, including Album of the Year, incredible critical acclaim. I mean, it just goes on and on. Female empowerment, doo-wop, that thing, check. Dealing with past relationships, X Factor, check. Pregnancy and motherhood, To Zion, check. Veiled shots at Wyclef, Lost Ones, check. I remember being a freshman in college when this album was out, and every female on campus, regardless of class, ethnicity, or even musical taste for that matter, was on it. Let me put it to you this way. In 2014, the word epic gets tossed around like a beach ball at the ballpark, effectively diluting its intended potency. As a blog writer, MC, defender of proper grammar, and overall word nerd, this bugs the hell out of me. That said, the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, not just the album itself, but that moment in time where Lauryn Hill was at the top of the game, was actually epic. Shout outs and much love to L Boogie. 50 Cent released his underground smash, How to Rob, on August 10th, 1999. A thugged out yet groovy track, which borrows its sample from George McRae's I Get Lifted. A young, pre-shady Aftermath deal, 50 Cent essentially raps about robbing everybody in the industry except Biggie and Pac, to whom he gives RIP shoutouts at the beginning of the track. Bobby and Whitney, Boyz II Men, Jay-Z, DMX, and Jermaine Dupri are just a few of the artists that felt 50's kleptomaniacal wrath on this brilliant and highly entertaining track that surely was one of the main reasons Eminem noticed him. Hundreds of millions of dollars later, we all know how that partnership turned out. Big ups to 50 for actually going out and getting it before going out and getting it became one of those cliche, overused rap sayings. And lastly, the dynamic duo of Jay-Z and Kanye West released Watch the Throne on August 6, 2011. I don't have a ton to say about this album aside from it was good, but underwhelming given the hype. I like Paris a lot, phenomenal track. Otis was dope too, as were Primetime, New Day, and Murder to Excellence. No Church is my favorite track on the album, but I still can't believe it beat Nas and Amy Winehouse's Cherry Wine for Best Rap Song Collaboration at the 2013 Grammys. That was bullcrap. And I never cared for ham, though occasionally I've used the term going ham, i.e. going hard as a motherfucker. I always end up wanting a ham sandwich later in the day. Matter of fact, this has been a long segment, and I'm hungry now. I think I'm about to go ham on a ham sandwich. What? I'm kind of hungry. Oh man, that's good. It's peanut butter and jelly though. And we're back, folks. And man, I'm excited about this next segment. One of the most legendary shows in hip-hop history, Yo! MTV Raps, not only debuted on August 6, 1988, with the first episode hosted by Run DMC, but also ended on August 17, 1995, with a massive and legendary freestyle session that we'll discuss shortly. A groundbreaking show that was hosted by Fab Five Freddy originally, and later the hilarious duo of Dr. Dre and Ned Lover, Yo! MTV Raps helped raise the platform for hip-hop culture, as it was brought into the living rooms of millions of MTV subscribers across the nation. Its success also bred competition from rival networks, which led to the development of other shows such as Video Music Box and Rap City, further expanding rap's reach and visibility. Simply put, hip-hop doesn't evolve into the wildly lucrative industry it's become without Yo! MTV Raps. As such, here are some of my favorite Yo! moments. My number 5 Yo! moment is the episode where Tupac, recently fired from the set of Menace to Society, went on and on about beating up the film's producers, the Hughes brothers. The type of rant that would put any of Kanye's to shame, despite Ed Lover's best efforts to hold Pac back, at one point even covering his mouth to get him to stop talking. In typical Tupac fashion, he just wouldn't let up. Hollering directly into the camera, Pac shared his raw emotions as only he could. They fired me, but did it in a roundabout punk snitch way. So I caught them in the streets and whipped their behinds. I was a menace to the Hughes brothers, and it ain't over. Though hysterical in hindsight, sadly the Hughes brothers at the time would go on to use the footage as evidence in court, resulting in Tupac spending 15 days in jail. All that said, as good as Menace to Society was, how much better would that film have been with Tupac in it? We'll never know, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say much, much better. Checking in at number 4 is the episode where Fab Five Freddy interviews NWA in Compton in 1989. For part of the interview, they drove around in the hood in the back of a truck, which a 9-year-old me found fascinating for some reason. For a lot of us out east, it was one of the first in-depth looks we got into what the California rap scene was all about. Just seeing that Cali hip-hop culture, and how though rooted in rap music was nonetheless so different than the East Coast NY Philly-based imagery I was used to, was impactful. It stood out. Definitely check out that footage one day if you get the chance. The 1989 Yo! MTV Raps Grammy Boycott Party holds down the number 3 spot on my list. 1989 was the first year that the Grammys recognized hip-hop, with DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince taking home the first rap Grammy for their smash hit Parents Just Don't Understand. The reason for the boycott, however, was because the Grammys refused to air the Best Rap Performance Award. As such, many of the major players in rap at the time, from Salt and Pepper to Slick Rick to Flavor Flav to Kid and Play, and even Will Smith and Jazzy Jess themselves, joined Fab Five Freddy in the boycott. Solidarity was in full effect, and these artists made a bold statement that Hip Hop Nation would stand together and fight the good fight until our genre was treated with the same respect as any other. Sure enough, the following year, the Grammys changed their tune and aired the Hip Hop Awards presentations. Good old-fashioned grassroots activism with a hip-hop twist. Gotta love it. The final episode freestyle session, to which we alluded earlier, is my second favorite Yo moment. Bidding the legendary show a fitting farewell, everyone from Redman to Method Man, MC Lyte, KRS-One, Rakim, and even Ed Lover grabbed the mic and spit. Rarely do you get a collection of talent like that in intimate, close-knit quarters. It was just fun to watch. Anyone who's ever freestyled, whether you bring your writtens with you or not, know it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. You don't have the luxury of rehearsing like you should for a show. Yes, I said should, because some of y'all MCs out there know damn well you wing it at your shows, and good grief, it's just awful. But I digress. You don't have the luxury of rehearsing or killing the take and starting over like you do in the booth. So to watch all these legends share the mic was just fantastic television. Just thinking about it makes me want to get in a cypher right now. And my favorite Yo moment of all time was the episode where Fab Five Freddy interviewed Digital Underground. This episode was funny to me back then and still is today because Shock G and Humpty Hump were never on camera at the same time, despite Fab Five Freddy's best efforts. We all know Shock and Humpty are the same guy, obviously. That was the joke, and it worked. At the end of the episode, you actually see Shock and Humpty together in the same shot. That type of crude editing and the cast not taking themselves too seriously made it funny and memorable for me. Sometimes less is more, and that's why this episode stands the test of time. And oh yeah, how can we possibly get through a segment about Yo MTV Raps without mentioning the Ed Lover dance? Prof, what are you doing, Prof?
See Ed Lover dance, homie!
No, it looks more like the Humpty dance meets the Shmoney dance. Ed Lover must be turning over in his grave right now.
Ed Lover's dead?
No, he's not dead. It's just a figure of speech. You know, he's still alive, but he's turning over in his grave. It's just for emphasis.
Thank God he's okay.
Come on, son!
And lastly, we'd like to wish a happy birthday to the following August babies. First and foremost, both Chuck D and Professor Griff of Public Enemy were born on August 1st, 1960. Let me take a moment here to acknowledge Chuck D for retweeting and then sending me a thank you tweet for the album review I wrote up on his latest, The Blackened Man, which he dropped on his 54th birthday. I know it's a small gesture. I know it's just a couple of tweets. I'm not trying to overstate anything here. But as someone who grew up on Public Enemy's music and has nothing but love, respect, and admiration for Chuck D, it meant the world to me. Thank you, Chuck D, and happy birthday. And to the rest of you, be sure to support the album and also to check out the review at www.jplineproductions.com, your one-stop shop for fresh content on all things hip-hop. And while you're there reading, pick up our damn music. Your ears will thank you. Moving on, happy birthdays are in order too. Coolio of Gangsta's Paradise fame, August 1st. Salt and Pepper's legendary DJ, Spinderella, August 3rd. The late, great Adam Yauch, a.k.a. MCA of the Beastie Boys, August 5th. Hot 97 DJ, Funkmaster Flex, August 5th. West Side Connection MC, Mac 10, August 9th. Old School legend, Curtis Blow, August 9th. A Tribe Called Quest producer, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, August 11th. Del, the Funky Homo Sapien, August 12th. The original Big Butt enthusiast, Sir Mix-a-Lot, August 12th. Everlast, August 18th. My bandmate and dance enthusiast, Professor, August 18th. Happy birthday, homie. Wu-Tang Clan's Master Killa, August 18th. And Jizza, August 22nd. The late, great Nate Dogg, who made a great track legendary and an average track great, August 19th. Fellow Puerto Rican MC, Fat Joe, August 19th. Yeah, I went there. The Teacher, a.k.a. The Blastmaster, a.k.a. KRS-One, August 20th. Shock G and Humpty Hump of Digital Underground fame share a birthday, August 25th, 1963. Though legend has it, they've never actually celebrated together. See what I did there? Mace, August 27th. And lastly, Slaughterhouse MC Joe Budden, August 31st. And that concludes the Rap Flashback, August edition. As always, be sure to check back with us next month for more knowledge, more jokes, more dancing, and quite possibly more ham sandwiches. The Rap Flashback is filmed before a live studio audience consisting of our film crew and sound guy. And we'd like to thank our sponsors, namely ourselves and Limehead, for supporting our endeavors. Thanks again, Limesters. We'll see you next month. Lime up.